Hey everyone, Arbiter Wolf here with another weekly video. So if I had to sum up this last week, it was like practicing for a game and not getting a lot of game time in. I spent a lot of time practicing this last week, but what I feel I need more of is just putting it all together. Overall, I got to hit all the practice areas that I really wanted to practice, and it felt like the practice that I really wanted to see. The issue with this is that I spent almost all my time practicing and very little drawings like the one you see that I'm doing here. I feel that there are two issues that came up while practicing a lot this week. One is that the more I tried to practice something, the more it felt like I got mixed results in the sketches. One moment I'll be doing a time drawing and it'll be a great sketch at the end of the time drawing. Then I'll get a reference that's similar to the last one, and then it looks completely different, and I'm like, why is this? The second thing is not putting it all together. Well, I think it's a good practicing style to break everything down. Like, for example, this week I had it broken down into head, upper body, lower body, environment, arms, and hands. The issue that comes up is that I'm not putting it all together at the end of the practice. So that brings me to what I think I need to do for this next week here. What I'm going to do is keep the areas of practice the same, but I'm going to add testing of the practice at the end of each area. So what I want to do is pick a reference that would best test my knowledge of the practice that I just did, and then do a more detailed drawing like the one I'm doing here. I think this is going to help me is that it's going to, one, put everything together of what I've just been practicing, and two, it's going to showcase where I'm weak in when I get to see the results of that detailed drawing. The one other thing I wanted to try to do for this next week here is add a little bit more structure to my time. Normally how I've been doing the traceovers is that I will trace over references of the areas that I'm focusing on. Then I'll do a sketch off to the side after tracing it over. And then after doing the trace over and sketching off to the side, then I'll go and sketch the reference from my memory. I've been feeling that this has been working really well. The only issue that I've been really seeing is the fact that I don't really have like a set time for how long I do this trace over, sketch, and recall from memory. Where this becomes an issue is I feel like I spend a lot of time in one area focusing on something, then I'll feel rushed in another area because I spent so much time focusing on something else. So what I want to do is kind of even things out. I'm going to set some time limits for the trace over. That way I can focus on other things like my time drills and then also doing kind of the testing at the end of the focus area. Last thing I wanted to talk about is the drawing that I did here. I felt that it went pretty well. There are things I noticed that are a little off, specifically in the left arm. I feel I made her bicep a little too beefy. The other thing too is that I feel like I made her head a little too big. Because the reference head has more of a thinner head. I've been noticing that I've been messing this up specifically when it comes to drawing the head, but it's smaller. I think where the issue comes there is maybe the circles that I do are a little too beefy. And that translates over into the face. But overall, I felt happy with it. I know I just pointed out a whole bunch of negatives about it, but the fun thing about drawing is when you start getting better, you start also seeing all your mistakes. So it's great. Because the more you practice something, the more you start going like, that doesn't look right. But overall, it's a step in the right direction, and I'm happy with it. So that's pretty much going to sum it up for this video. I'll try to implement that for this week, those changes that I talked about. One last thing too is that I wanted to add that I do have a Twitter, and I was using it last week to showcase some of the sketches that I've been doing while practicing, because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to do an entire video for just a practice sketch. And I'm also using it to kind of document my time that I'm doing for practicing. So if you're interested, I have a link in the channel. But that's pretty much all I had. So if you guys liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys all in the next video.